I sit beneath the old Sakura tree, feeling the rough bark at my back, each ridge and crevice grounding me to this spot, this moment. The petals drift slowly, almost reluctantly, from the branches above, falling like pink whispers upon my sword lying across my lap. I have sharpened this blade countless times, felt its edge, known its readiness, but it has never tasted blood. In a way, it is a testament to restraint more than strength, a tool meant for death that has yet only known peace. A gentle breeze stirs, lifting the petals and setting them to dance before me, spinning like fleeting moments in the wind. I watch one land softly on the polished steel of my sword. Its color, a vivid living pink, stands out starkly against the cool, lifeless metal, as if mocking the blade's solemn purpose, a purpose I have never fulfilled. This thought lingers, half-formed, somewhere in the back of my mind, like an itch I can't reach. The gentle clinking of bells in the distance catches my attention, and I turn to see a shepherd guiding his flock over the nearby hill. He walks slowly, with a patience that suggests he has all the time in the world. The sheep meander across the field, each one following the next without question, trusting the shepherd's quiet guidance. There is something admirable in their simplicity, a life led without the burden of contemplation, of wondering. And here I am, plagued by questions, rooted to this spot by thoughts as unyielding as the mountain beyond. The sun is setting, casting long shadows across the landscape, turning the river at the edge of the field into a ribbon of silver. The water flows calmly, unbothered by rocks in its path, simply slipping past them, finding its own way around obstacles without resistance. I can hear its gentle murmuring, blending with the low buzz of insects hidden in the tall grass around me. Life hums on, endlessly, endlessly moving, and here I am, still, a part of it, and yet apart. Above, a flock of birds takes flight, their wings catching the last light of day as they form a shifting, fluid shape in the sky. They fly with purpose, yet directionless, moving as one, free from the weight of thought, doubt, or regret. I wonder if I envy them, or perhaps I envy the river, or the sheep, or even the insects in the grass. Each lives simply, each has a purpose, and follows it without hesitation, without contradiction. And here I am, bound by duty to a sword that has not known blood, to a path I have not yet taken. A voice in my head reminds me that I have trained my whole life to wield this weapon, to defend, to protect. You are a samurai, it insists. This sword is more than metal. It is the proof of your loyalty, of your readiness to serve. Yet another voice, softer and harder to ignore, questions this. And what is service if it leads to harm? Is strength only in the act of killing? It is a strange irony, to be caught between action and inaction, to wonder if my worth lies in something I have never done, and may never do. There is a certain peace, I realize, in this conflict. In the end, I am not so different from the river, flowing but never hurried, finding my way through life's obstacles in my own time. I close my eyes and listen to the world around me, the rustling leaves, the distant bell of the shepherd, the soft hum of the insects, and in this moment I let go of the need for answers, for purpose. I exist, simply, fully, under the Sakura tree. Perhaps happiness is not something to chase, but something to be found in stillness, in simply allowing each moment to pass without clinging. I open my eyes again and look down at the petal resting on my sword. It has not moved, and I find myself smiling at its stillness. For today, that is enough. I rise slowly, brushing stray petals from my shoulders and legs, and slide my sword back into its sheath. The moment beneath the branches fades as I step onto the worn path leading to the village market, where I know I'll find the usual commotion, merchants bartering, children laughing, and the blend of voices rising and falling like the buzz of insects. I walk slowly, letting my feet carry me while my mind wanders. When I reach the edge of the market, the air shifts, thickening with the scents of fresh fish, spices, and the earthy smell of vegetables piled high on vendor carts. People push past me, each in a hurry, each on their own urgent mission. I pause for a moment, watching this strange dance unfold. Faces flicker past, here one moment and gone the next, each one etched with concentration, worry, joy, or sometimes simply the dull blankness of repetition. Lives converging, colliding, then disappearing back into their own paths. A young boy darts past me, his arms overflowing with apples that he's struggling to hold. One tumbles from his grip and rolls across the ground. He scrambles after it, barely sparing me a glance as he vanishes into the crowd again. I feel the faintest brush of a woman's sleeve as she hurries by, her eyes focused intently on the items spread across a vendor's stand, her hands moving with practiced ease as she picks out vegetables and barters their price. Everywhere, the market hums with activity. Words are exchanged, coins change hands, baskets are filled and emptied in an endless cycle. I find myself standing at the center of this, feeling strangely apart from it all, watching as if from a distance. And in this bustling scene, I sense a strange contrast. People rushing, their voices rising with energy, yet their eyes often vacant, tired, as though they're caught in a race with no finish line, endlessly chasing something they can never quite reach. Is this what life is? A quiet voice in my mind asks. Endless movement, endless wanting, an unceasing hunger for more? I watch the people around me, noting the lines etched on faces that are not old, yet wear the weight of age. There is a kind of desperation here, I realize, hidden beneath the surface of every action. In this frantic pace, they find purpose, or perhaps they simply drown out the silence, the same silence that fills me when I sit beneath the Sakura tree. A vendor calls out, his voice rising above the din, his hands held high to show off a piece of fabric dyed a rich indigo. He beckons to a young woman, and she hesitates, her gaze lingering on the cloth before she shakes her head and moves on. I can see the flicker of disappointment in her eyes as she glances back. Always reaching, always seeking, the thought returns, louder this time, and I wonder if she too feels this pull, the unnameable something that tugs at the edges of her life, just out of reach. For a moment, I wonder if I am the one out of place, standing in the midst of this moving world, so still and separate, carrying the calm of the Sakura tree in my chest. Yet perhaps there is wisdom in both paths, in the stillness of a tree and the motion of the crowd. Perhaps each has its own meaning, its own way of finding peace. The people in this market may not know the quiet of an untouched blade, the silence of an undisturbed morning under the cherry blossoms, yet they too are searching for something they may never name. I step forward, moving through the throngs, feeling myself become part of the pulse of the market for a moment. A child bumps into me, his wide eyes flicking up to meet mine before he hurries off, a quick apology thrown over his shoulder. I smile faintly. Perhaps life is simply this, I think, to seek and to stumble, to be jostled and to walk on. I continue walking, letting the crowd carry me forward, feeling the press of life all around. And for the first time, I feel a strange sort of kinship with these people, these merchants and buyers, these children and mothers and tired travelers, all caught in the flow of a life that is both messy and beautiful, chaotic yet full. It is a different peace, a peace found in motion rather than in stillness. As I walk away from the market, back toward the path that leads to my quiet place beneath the Sakura, I feel a subtle shift within. I carry with me the noise, the busyness, the endless seeking of these people, and somehow it feels like a part of me too.